What's up, metalheads? Duran here from Metalholic Magazine and Mojo Radio, and from the depths of the underworld, I have Harry Leviathan, Thisiren Conklin, and Anthony Evil Hobbit Lopez from Satan's Host. What's up, guys?
What's up? How you doing?
Woo! Not bad, not bad. Hey, you guys started in 1977 as a power metal group, disbanded 10 years later, and then you reunited as a black metal band. Why the switch in genres, so to speak?
I don't know. To us, it's always, it's always been Patrick Evil that's been the driving musical force behind Satan's Host, and he has that signature sound. So, I mean, over the years, we're influenced by certain things at the time or whatever, what we're listening to and that. But in the end, we usually we're not really even looking to be a genre other than just being a straight up heavy metal band. And we just incorporate all the tools that metal has to offer to us. So, like, when we get asked that question, it's kind of hard to say that we're black and power metal or this or that. We basically just like tell people we're a straight up metal band.
You guys have been around for over 30 years now. What do you attribute your longevity to?
Just the desire to keep playing music.
Just keep out doing the last albums, just keep the ball rolling, That's what we like to do. We have it in our blood. Patrick's been the one that's been the longest. Harry was here in the beginning, and now he's back. And he's got a pretty lucrative career with all his other projects. So it's in our blood. It's what we like to do. It's what we like to deliver.
Yeah. So the new album is called "By the Hands of the Devil." It came out May 3rd. It's the first since 1987's Midnight Wind that features Harry on lead vocals again. This question is mostly directed at him. Was it easy to get back into the flow of making a new album with the band after being out for so long?
Yeah, I just took a phone call. I basically wanted to try to see what Pat was up to because I was so busy with my other projects that I was unaware that Pat kept going and was still making albums and had a pretty solid outfit already. So when I got with Pat, it just happened to be perfect timing that he was looking for my style of vocalist again to continue the old style of Satan's Host, the beginning style of Satan's Host. He kind of wanted to go away from the so-called death metal type of vocalist and go back into something that was more melodic that complemented the new sound that he was coming up with. And that's it. We just, got a phone call. I called Pat, actually just found a way of contacting him through his website, and then he called me, and we got the ball rolling, and the project started, and Pat is constantly writing all the time. In fact, last night he was coming up with another idea for another song, so he always comes up with new ideas, and he was ready to make a new album. And so it just took a couple of weeks, actually maybe a couple of months for us to come up with an album's worth of material, and there you go.
Cool. So you guys have a lot of material recorded, obviously, being around for 30 years. How much do you feel the band has changed since you started back in 1986?
Well, other than just the vocalist, if you listen to the band's overall sound, it's really not changed a whole much. It's evolved, but it's still been the same type of sound, very anthemic, kind of operatic, really dark, multifaceted, lots of beat changes, lots of 4 or 5 different parts per song. But the only thing that's changed is the vocalist, and sometimes that being the spokesperson of the music, the main thing that you hear all throughout, that can shape the sound quite a bit. But if you take the vocal channels out of both me and Eli and just listen to the music itself, you can see that it's evolved somewhat, but it still kept the same because it's been Pat writing a majority of the licks and the chops all throughout.
Is Satanism a big part of your personal belief, not just in your music?
Well, Satan's Host started with Pat's ideas of bringing out, the true satanic beliefs, and he was tired of everybody trying to use evil and Satan as just a selling tool, and he he always thought, if you need to talk about Satan and Satanists, then you need to be right and you need to be true to what's really happening. And controversy sells. That's another thing. So he just wanted to be true to it, and he wanted to bring out true evil and let people know what the true path was, instead of all these other people that have no idea of what the true path is. I don't think we personally are Satanists, but we just don't believe in Christianity at the same time. Some of us are atheists, some of us are Satanists, and some of us just really don't believe in anything but ourselves.
Oh, there's a lot of differentiation between Satanism as a religion and Satanism as just kind of being yourself and doing what works best for you as an individual. So it's more individuality, I guess, for you guys, right?
Yeah, the whole of the law is do what thou wilt. So whatever you feel is all that's asked of you. So
cool. Well, I mean, this album kind of returns to your. I know you guys, don't like to name names here, but power metal influence as opposed to being, black metal and was that intentional, or was that just kind of once you got back into the fold, Harry, did that just kind of come out naturally?
Actually, I was given music, and I was given rough vocal patterns, and I was given all the lyrics. And so what we did is we just kind of took Pat's initial and Anthony's initial melodies that they came up with their head, kind of thinking that this is the way that Harry might have his take on it, or this is what I hear, and influenced by the vocalists that they like Dio and Dickinson and Halford, and kind of applied that to the music that was already there. And then what I sang to it was slightly different, but it was pretty much the original idea that had driven them to write the songs. But when I came into the band, the songs were already written, they were already well rehearsed, and there was already studio sessions planned and booked. So it was a short amount of time for me, and maybe a window of 2 months, for me to get my parts down and rehearse with the band, enough times to where we could go in the studio and lay this down. So it was a pretty short process, but it was already laid out for me ahead of time. And that's usually how it's always been. Pat will write a majority of the music and the guitar licks, and even come up with a rough vocal line. Since he is the lyricist, he has to come up with some sort of melody, and then that melody is just redefined and either chopped up or expanded on, to basically carry the message of the lyrics across, and also to not take away or copy any of the guitar licks. We always just try to complement them with an altar melody. So sometimes in the studio, as we were recording By the Hands of the Devil, there was a lot of spaces that we had intended vocals that we took out because the musical passage was a lot more powerful than what the vocal was. And so there were quite a few vocal passages that were just cut right out of the song in order for the song to speak volumes.
Plus, there was parts that were added also. So there was a little, maybe the last 95% out of the 100% was probably conceived there in the studio.
So this new album features, it's actually the first to feature a new bass player. You guys got Margar on the 4-string now. And you've had quite a few lineup changes over the years, although with a 30-year career, that might not seem like that many. Is there an audition process for joining the host? You just kind of hook up and, here we go, let's make music.
Well, I came in right before Power Purity when the band was doing the tour for the Great American Scapegoat, and the drummer they had at the time, Pete, he was on the 3 albums before I was on there. He somehow had a falling out and left during the tour, and then when they came back, Eli contacted me because I've been talking to them here and there, seeing them around town, and they hit me up to join Satan's Host. I was playing in a band called Torrid Flesh, and Margar was with me in Torrid Flesh. So when, because Pat did all the bass and the guitars on Power Purity, And right after that, we needed a live person. So I told Pat, well, let's try out Margar. You know, I've been playing with them for about 2-3 years. So he came down. He was interested, and he fit with us right away. So he just stayed, and it's already going to be 2 years that he's been in the band now in August.
Cool.
But when Eli was in the band, there was always kind of a revolving door of musicianships because he just would start locking horns with people, and he just would leave a really bad taste in their mouth and scare them off, and they'd finally just get tired of his crap, and they'd eventually just leave. So it didn't have nothing to do with Pat or Satan's Toast. It was basically all on him.